Happy first day of October, everybody. You're listening to the Wrestling Fans Insight Sunday Takedown, live from the Fans of Pro Wrestling Studio. I am joined by my co-host today, Carlos. How you doing, brother?
Oh, you got a studio now, huh? Wow, okay. I'm good. How are you?
I'm counting it as a studio. You always got to tear me down. What the hell?
You gotta keep you humble, dude. Got to keep you humble.
Oh, I stay pretty humbled. I'm married, for hell's sakes. So, how you doing, bro?
Good. I'm good. I'm actually I'm grateful that that I'm off work an hour earlier now that summer's over, because staying up to like 3 a.m. to watch wrestling, but then still making church in the morning made me feel good. So I'm feeling accomplished already because I went to church. So it can only go up from here.
Amen to that. So
Amen.
Did you confess to every bad little thing you did this week already and all that?
Of course, I lit a candle for your soul. You know, it blew out right away, but I tried my best.
That's why I don't go to church. And that's kind of the funny thing, being from Utah. So
Right. I thought you go to church and meet your wives in Utah. I'm just kidding.
Well, Sarah's only number 8, so
you still got room for a couple more.
I've got a couple more before I'm required to go pay my tithing and all that.
I mean, if I was younger, if I was in my younger days with gay marriage, I might move to Utah, but I'm too old for that shit now. That's good. That's good.
You are not. You're only a year older than me, for hell's sakes.
Yeah.
But anyways, welcome to our room there, Chris Haas.
Pay a little, get a lot. NVStream702.com, the only place you should ever watch anything. I don't go to church to meet my wives. I go to family reunions.
Family reunions?
Wait!
my family tree's more of a wreath. It's,
oh, good Lord.
Recorded. Oh, dear God.
I was going to say, yeah, I mean, people understand the Utah comments, but come on, Chris, you didn't need to make it worse.
He's just saying his ancestors have been here for a long time. It is what it is, I'd wear that badge of honor too.
You know what's funny is there's been a couple on the 2 Jericho cruises.
Oh, here we go again with the Jericho cruise flex.
No, seriously, when people asked us where we were from and we told them we were from Utah, said, "Oh, you guys are all those polygamists." I said,
"Good Lord."
Well, you can say just a few wives. I mean, this is only my 7th one here. Sarah slapped me on the arm and said, "Dumbass, I'm number 9."
she buried you didn't know about.
And it's amazing how many people fall for that every time, like they think we're serious, because we play it pretty good. But
well, the thing that's funny is, like, even though I come from a very small town, it's like we're very cultured, and the thing I'm grateful for that is because it's a very big Mormon community, very big Hispanic community, and a very big East Indian community. So it's kind of cool, like, so it's like, even though people think of small towns, like for a small town in California, we're pretty cultured. It's neat. It's interesting. It's an interesting dynamic.
Yeah, it really is. And I'll tell you, every time I travel out of the state, I kind of have a culture shock, just because I've been so used to the LDS dominant population here in Utah, but that's actually gone down quite a bit over the years. And it's kind of, I mean, I would say we're probably still more dominantly Mormon populated, but I don't know how, I guess you can say staunch Mormon they've been over the years. It seems like they're finally starting to kind of get the stick out of their wheres. So that's a good sign for Utah, at least.
For sure.
Be a little more welcoming and a little more tolerant to today's society, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
So, but anyways, welcome to the show, everyone. We kind of went off the rails quite a bit, like usual.
That was our TED Talk, guys. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back on Wednesday at
But let's kind of go over a couple of things here. We just normally do our podcast recordings for Sundays. We're just going to go over our rules for the space here. One, we are not doing mic requests until after we get the main part of our podcast recorded. So we will get to everybody that wants to speak up eventually. So please just be patient with us. It's going to be a little bit of a long show today, because we will be covering both the NXT No Mercy results and giving our predictions for the AEW WrestleDream pay-per-view for tonight. too, when we do grant your request, just all we ask is after you get done speaking, please mute your mic to avoid that background sounds. Kind of like that one Carlos just did there.
Hey, quick shout out to we got a WWE legend listening to us for a little bit. The Brooklyn Brawlers in the room. Thanks for joining us.
Yes.
We love your work. Appreciate you.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Brawler. Always loved your work, especially during my childhood years, and also enjoy listening to you when Ryback does his X Spaces too. So, thank you for joining us. Also, when you get done talking, if we do give you a mic, I think I already said it, but just please make sure you mute your mic. And also, last but not least, please no trolling or negativity toward anybody else that does speak here in this room. We love to keep a very positive space amongst the wrestling fans. And more importantly, we value everybody's opinions. So, without any further ado, brother, you want to go ahead and shall we get started with the results from last night?
Are you not going to ask me about SmackDown on Friday?
Oh, well, I thought we were going to do that in the bonus episode after.
We can do that. Okay, never mind. Fine, we'll do that in the bonus episode.
Jeez. Well, actually, why don't we go ahead and talk about your SmackDown experience? Because I totally forgot it was this week.
I know you did. See, that's why I had to bring it up. Because when you went to Raw, man, it was like the topic of the day. Hey, I went to Raw.
For my whole up in 2 minutes that I mentioned.
No, it was really fun. I think I was really grateful. Excuse me. It's funny because at first when I bought the tickets, I knew that Roman wasn't going to be there. But then I bought him on the at least I get to see Jey Uso. Then he went to SmackDown, and then it was like, oh, at least LN's gonna be there. And he got COVID. But the cool thing was just having John Cena there. It's one of those things where you don't know how many times you get to see him again. Getting to see Rey Mysterio actually have a really good match and cook compared to how he was being booked when Vince was in charge. It was really cool. It was like we had two really good dark main events. Dominic versus John Cena. They actually had a really good wrestling match. It was entertaining. I just told in my head, I just thought John was gonna give him the attitude adjustment and just pin him 1, 2, 3. But it actually had a good match. Dominic's really good heel. He's really improved a lot. Again, I've always been a fan of his, but just seeing how much he's improved just really made me a fan. And then Gunther and Seth Rollins actually cooked. The match ended in a DQ because Seth was gonna pin him with the curb stomp, and then Kaiser, came in and stopped the count, but they actually had a good match, because again, I was thinking to myself, oh, they're probably going to just have an interference right away. And I was actually good. I mean, I would recommend anybody, if you're going to go to a live show, try to go to SmackDown. Cause I think that we got to remember it's only a 2-hour show. So they're going to give you the two dark matches afterwards, where Raw is 3 hours and it's kind of there. So if you're ever hesitant to go to a live event and go to a TV taping, I would definitely recommend SmackDown over Raw any day of the week and twice on Sunday, which it is Sunday. So.
Oh, you just timed that perfectly, didn't you?
Yep.
Oh, awesome.
I was practicing in the mirror, Practice makes perfect.
That's right. So while we go right into NXT No Mercy, what did you think overall of the event?
I've said this on a couple of our different podcasts. I think that NXT is like one of the best brands out there. I think honestly, even comparing it to AEW, which I love dearly, and the WWE product. I mean, we joke calling Shawn Michaels Chad Frost just because of the Rock's TV show, but he's really doing a good job with these guys. I mean, it's a really well-rounded product. There's interesting storylines. The build up to this was really, really well. And again, I thought the talent cooked. The one thing I want to tell fans in wrestling right now, because there's a lot of tribalism going on, is I think that you need to be aware that you're probably going to be seeing a lot of your older wrestlers finishing their careers in AEW, because I think that WWE has a lot of good young talent and they need to start getting younger. And I think that younger talent was on display on Saturday. And I think you're going to start seeing these guys be given the spotlight more on Raw and SmackDown. And so I think I'm interested to see what 2024 is going to look like for the wrestling scene as a whole. I think it's going to be, like I said, I've already said before, I think you'll be seeing the guys like your Adam Copelands and guys maybe finishing their careers in AEW if they want to continue, because WWE needs to desperately get younger. And I think that they showed yesterday they have the talent, and the thing that I got to, Vince isn't perfect, but the thing that they're smart about is just building their own talent, because it's like, I do like seeing the guys from the indies too, but like seeing the guys from, In the Mud, is that the name of the tag team?
Yes.
Like just seeing how athletic those guys are. And like even a Tiffany Stratton, she did start in a wrestling school, but she was kind of just like they have a good formula too for getting the NFT, was it NFT or what's the talents they call them?
NIT.
NIT. They have a really good strategy at that, because you find those talents that just, I can appreciate their athleticism, and so I think they're in a good place, and I think that they were, there was some rough patches with when NXT 2.0 got rolled out, but I think they got a really strong product, and I'm really excited to see what's next.
Did you happen to catch that the pre-show match with Kalani Jordan and Blair Davenport?
I did not. That's the one I haven't watched yet.
Oh man,
Was it good?
I thought it was definitely worthy to been on the main event. Really, there should have been 7 matches on that card, and I mean, if you want to be technical, it was 7 matches, but I thought they were deserving to be in the main showing, because I think Kalani showed a lot of promise for her future. I think she's going to be a future champ. I saw Dana Brooke post on her X app last night showing how proud she was, how Kalani held up against Blair, and both of those talents really put on a great show.
And the thing for me is, I love, like, AEW's women's roster cannot touch WWE's, and so I think with WWE, that's one. I mean, hello, they just had Jade come there, so for me, like, focus on what your strengths are, and I think one of the biggest strengths for WWE is their women's division. So I think that they're smart to put those women on there. Excuse me, and to counter what you said. Yeah, I mean, it should have been on the main show, but again, kudos for NXT for actually giving us a pre-show match on the actual pre-show and not just a bunch of interviews. So I get your point, and also a big shout out to Bakersfield, who brought the energy. Hopefully that means they get more around the Performance Center too. But yeah, I'll definitely watch it when I get off. But again, the women there are they're on a different level, man. If I was one wrestler, I definitely want to be in WWE.
Oh yeah, and let's talk about Tiffany Stratton again. I thought she held up a pretty good match going toe to toe with Becky Lynch last night. And at first, I will always be the one that says at first I was not a Tiffany Stratton fan, because I thought she looked very horrible. She was very green, and coming now into her second year, she has improved such a great deal. She definitely shows why she's worthy of holding that NXT Women's Championship. And I think we're going to see her hold the singles women's championship on the main roster here within the next, I would say, 3 to 4 years.
Oh, yeah, she's amazing. And my only thing is, again, I'm sure all, the straight men loved her butt hanging out the whole time. But for me, like, I just wish my only thing that I wish she would have been dressed for like a more of a hardcore match, that was my only, and again, that's like a little petty thing, but I mean, that was my only like thing. It was kind of like, she should be more dressed like to fight, but at the same time, it was, she really held her own, and she brought it to Becky, and yeah, she's improved greatly. I was a fan since day one, because I loved the gimmick, and then after hearing her interviews, just how she really works on herself, and how she did, because people didn't realize she went to Mr. Kennedy's wrestling school, and it just made me more of a bigger fan. And just her humility too about Rick saying that she needed to be in NXT longer instead of getting again, she's just a class act. And she's definitely another one I could definitely see, being a banner going on media things for them too, because she's good, man. She's great. She's a feature main eventer at WrestleMania for sure. They're in a very good position right now with WWE, and so I think it's going to be interesting coming up, a couple years in WWE, how free agents work out and stuff like that.
And it's funny you mentioned that, because I think that was the first thing I pointed out in our private chat in the X app, was that's what won me over with Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, her interview on Busted Open, and when I told you that stuff, yeah,
was the fact that she mentioned that she wanted to stay in NXT to improve, and I'm like, yes, this is where our future needs to be a little more focal, is develop your niche and get better in that ring before you get main roster, because you don't want to jump the gun too quick. We've seen that happen to not very many, but a few talent, and they did not last very long.
And to counter you too there, I mean, Trick Williams is another one too, that when you mention her, you got to mention Trick. I mean, here's a guy who just started, he was in Carmelo's corner to learn from him, and he took the brass ring and he grabbed it, and he got himself over organically, with this great whoop that trick, his little, his little shout out, his little saying, and and he's got himself over, and he got rewarded yesterday. I don't think anybody really saw that coming, and he was just thrown in the match last minute, and I think a lot of people are upset because that could have been Mustafa Ali's title spot, but at the same time, and when you're the same fans are probably complaining about that, are the ones complaining that LA Knight wasn't getting pushed right away, and so you're seeing with Trick Williams, the guy that he's the LA Knight of NXT. Here's a guy who got himself over organically. Maybe wasn't their ideal plan, but again, Shawn Michaels pulled the trigger and rewarded him for the fact that he's got himself over and he's improved greatly. So appreciate those times and don't be so quick to criticize, because they're giving you what you often were criticizing on the main roster on the NXT roster. So.
And I'll never get the message across enough from Justin LaBar. He basically always said, if you ever root for any of these promotions to go under, you're the problem with professional wrestling. And that's very true. It's really kind of disturbing to see how much of the hate watching that's still going on, but we're not always going to be able to stop it, but all we can do is hope that people open their minds to it a little more. So,
and that's the thing you gotta remember with WWE. Yeah, there are performers that are going to go out there and they're trying to, have the 5-star matches, but they're not, WWE is not booked worrying about 5-star matches. They're booked on worrying about entertaining the fans, and they're doing a very good job of that right now. And again, money's talks, right? I mean, and again, I had a blast at AEW Dynamite when I was there in March, at the Golden One Center. And again, I was front row, so of course I was having a blast. But like being there where there was only maybe 4,500 or 5,000, and then being at a SmackDown where there was literally 12,000 people, 12,500 people packed to the rafters, like a sold out crowd, just the energy. And again, you can't deny the box office, money talks, and their product's very hot right now. So again, you might not. Again, and that's why there's wrestling for everybody. If just because they don't go out there worrying about putting on 5-star match doesn't mean they're not being entertaining. It's sports entertainment at its finest right now. And yeah, could they improve on things? Of course they can, but I think don't discredit for what they're doing right now, because they're really burning all cylinders right now.
So just going a little more forward here, what would you say was your biggest shocker of last night?
Dominic losing, but again, I wasn't really shocked by that. It was just one of those things where it was kind of like, I guess I was hoping for better, because I kind of figured he'd be the first one to lose his title in Judgment Day. But at the same time, I hope he still stays in NXT, because I think he's doing a lot there to help people. And again, he can show the guys too, look what you could get if you just work a little harder. Dragunov I picked Dragunov too. I was just pleasantly surprised. I think there was a lot of good matches, and the biggest surprise for me, honestly, was probably Baron Corbin winning, to be truthful, because I just thought he'd be putting over Braun Breaker, but I guess it means that they're going to continue this feud. But there's another guy too that's been kind of put on this low cooker, Braun, but he's so good. The way he sells himself, his just everything he does at the ring, man, his mechanics. He's got his facials down. The guy's money, dude. And again, that's someone who he's been slow cooking, and they could easily turn the heat up on him anytime they want to. There was really, again, pleasantly surprised that I was right about Ilya Dragunov. Again, that's the guy who deserves to be the champion. And again, it's just another thing that made me excited to see him get rewarded. And I have this question for you. Do you think that Ilya Dragunov will be this generation's Daniel Bryan in WWE?
I think there's some possibility there.
Just the storyline, the small guy, the guy who doesn't give up, the way he wrestles. Just totally reminds me of Bryan Danielson now. But just totally, I feel like he'll be this generation's, Daniel Bryan in WWE.
Well, and let's also look at the main factor with Ilya. He's in his 20s.
Yeah.
He's still pretty damn young. He's still got a lot of career left. And as long as he can keep himself very healthy and not prone to injuries like we see a few here and there, I think there's a chance he could be, I wouldn't say quite up to John Cena level, but more Daniel Bryan level.
No, but he just fits, for me. He just totally fits that Bryan Danielson, that he fits that structure, like just the guy you root for, like someone the fans are behind, someone who can wrestle, someone who puts his heart on his sleeve when he goes out there. I just thought when I was watching him yesterday, I'm like, this is going to be this generation's Daniel Bryan, 100%.
And I didn't have any disappointment with the card last night. Was there anything that was disappointing to you other than, of course, Dirty Dom losing his title?
Definitely Dirty Dom losing his title, just because again, I was disappointed. I didn't want, even though like I should have known better. But for me too, I was really hoping that Dragon Lee would be the guy. But again, like I'm not gonna be a hypocrite. Like Trick Williams deserves to be recognized for the work he's done, and he's got himself over, So I think the biggest surprise was Booker T singing along with his theme song. That was busted.
Yeah,
Booker T, man, Booker T knows how to entertain, man. I mean, this guy is money. The guy, he keeps bringing it. I love that man on commentary, man. It wasn't. That was my biggest disappointment. But and again, I was glad to see the crowd show up for them. The crowd like on their feet, like it was really. And again, it made me proud to be in California. The whole thing was just a nice surprise. It was just yeah, it was good. It was a really good card. I was glad, and it was one of those things where I'm glad I got to watch it. I didn't get to watch it live because just seeing all the comments about it and seeing everybody like talked about it was like, okay, Carlos, you're gonna put your phone down and actually watch this event, and because it really made me realize this is something you need to watch and pay attention to. So it was again just no real disappointments.
No,
besides Dom losing, but again, but now it can play into the judgment thing with him not having a belt, so it'll be fine storyline wise.
I'll give you something to gripe about in our private.
Well, no, now it's been confirmed Dominic's gonna be the one that beats Gunther. I mean, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah, all right, I'll take that. Wait. I hope Heather's not listening because she's probably ready to give you
her heart rate's going up. Her heart rate, and then again, shout out to our friend Heather, who's in our co-host, who's in the hospital. Her heart rate's going up right now on the monitor.
She's probably
sorry, Heather. Breathe.
She's probably calling you all sorts of bad names and eating some of that bad monkey nacho cheese popcorn right now.
That was the fun thing too about again. I told her in our chat, but the fun thing about Arca was just how much the kids hate Dominic. Man, it was so hearing them talk smack was so funny. Oh my god, it was hilarious.
Well, do you have anything to wrap up before we move on to the AEW WrestleDream predictions here?
Just if you're not supporting NXT, give this brand a chance because they really are strong. They are doing a lot of things, and they deserve your eyes, and they deserve your support. There's a lot of great future here for WWE, and a lot of great talent. And again, the way it's being booked, the way it's being done. I mean, usually get 7 or 8 matches in a 2-hour time span. If you're not watching NXT, now's the time to start tuning in again. That's my final thoughts.
And a big shout out to my brother William, who's always been a big supporter to the NXT brand. He's always been the one that says this has been the stuff that's been cooking, and he's been right. So, and William's also usually another one of our co-hosts, but unfortunately he's not feeling great. But William, hope you're listening. We'll be catching up with you here sometime later this week. But yeah, I thought overall No Mercy, if I was to give it a 5-star rating, it definitely was a 4.5 for me. So would you say that's fair?
Yeah, I would agree.
All right. So why don't we go ahead and get right into the main meat of the podcast today. For those of you who are AEW fans, you're getting really excited. So are we. Tonight is the AEW WrestleDream pay-per-view, the very first one. So this one's a pretty loaded card here. Just before we start getting into our predictions, what's your thought on the build-up for this pay-per-view tonight?
I mean, the build-up could have been better, but at the same time, we've been fed a lot for AEW this year. And again, if the rumors are true as far as them going to Max or if they're going to go to a bigger pay-per-view build, I just hope that these cards are going to be spread out farther, just so there is more time to build. But at the same time, these matches have been built up ever since their days on Independence or New Japan. So NXT is one of those. AEW is one of those brands that rewards you for your fan loyalty. So if you're somebody who watches, independent wrestling, watches other promotions, follows your wrestlers online, you're being given plenty of storytelling and plenty of build-up. That's all I'm going to say about that. They reward your fan. They don't hide from their past. That's the one I appreciate about AEW.
And I'm really looking forward to going to AEW Collision here next Saturday here in Salt Lake City. So I'm really excited with the way you keep talking about how they reward the fans here. So
Have you been live yet?
I've never been to
Oh, nice.
the only thing I've been on is the 2 Chris Jericho cruises, and that's it.
Nice.
I'm looking forward to going to this one here coming up at the end of January. So, but yeah, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get right into the WrestleDream predictions. Unfortunately, we were not able to get results from our teammate Bryan. Bryan the Hype Ballard, hope you're doing well, brother. We know you're really busy with your daughter and her tennis season, so
Hope she's whooping ass and taking names in tennis.
yeah, I hope she's just set matching everybody. So
You're getting to talk shit to all the other dads. like WWE taught you well.
I was gonna say like that South Park episode where the father keeps getting in fight with all the other little.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, let's get right into the 0 hour. 0 hour is pretty loaded. I think from start to finish, we're just gonna see pretty much nothing but wrestling matches because 0 hour has 4 matches in that 1 hour spot. So well, we go ahead and start with the 8-person mixed tag. And the reason why I say 8-person, because it's a mix. We got the team of Keith Lee, Satoshi Kojima, Athena, and Billy Starks taking on the team of Shane Taylor, Lee Moriarty, Mercedes Martinez, and Diamante. And I'm going to start out with William and Heather's picks on each and every one of these. Both of them have gone for the team of Keith Lee, Kojima, Athena, and Starks. Why don't we go ahead and start with you, Carlos?
First of all, I want to say boo. Like, I mean, I wish we were getting Kojima versus either Powerhouse Hobbs or Miro. I would have liked that a lot more. But I'm gonna go with the faces too. I'm gonna go with the same picks.
Oh man,
and it's weird that Athena's on that is that face like now. Like, I mean, yeah, she is what.
Yeah, I mean,
I think she's just one of those things where she fits on that team, but she's a heel. But again, it'll be interesting dynamic for sure.
See, I've loved her as a heel better than her face, especially.
I think she still is a heel. I think she just got booked like this just for purposes of the card.
Maybe we'll see her walk away from the team like the Bad News Brown.
Oh, maybe yeah.
Series. that one always kind of cracked me up. I always say that was the early version of Stone Cold Steve Austin right there. So, but I'm with you on this one and William and Heather. Unfortunately I can't argue this. I think the faces come out with the victory on this one. And it's just kind of been a weird build though. And to me, I think this will actually be the one that starts the 0 hour as well, just so we can get the fans pumped up and ready to go. And again, these matches are in no particular order, but we do have them categorized by 0 hour and main card. So forgive me if they're not in proper order when you watch. But while we go on to the next one I have listed, Nick Wayne and Luchasaurus. Heather and William both went for young boy Nick there. What say you, Bubba?
Oh man. I'm gonna go against the grain just because they picked Nick Wayne. I'm gonna go Luchasaurus.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm going with Luchasaurus just because I just don't see.
But it is Nick Wayne's hometown, so that's a hard one. But I mean, but yeah, I'm still gonna go with Luchasaurus.
It is his hometown, but if you've noticed lately, a lot of the trend is you don't see a whole lot of wrestlers
wins right away. Yeah,
get their wins in the hometown, especially this early in their career.
Yeah, for sure.
Probably the only exception is Sky Blue lately, but I'm going with Luchasaurus. I think he's too big, too powerful, and he's not going to take a loss to Nick Wayne this early yet in Nick Wayne's career. So, but when we go with another match, this one I was a little shocked to see the name pop up. Claudio Castagnoli taking on Josh Barnett. And for those of you who've never seen anything of Josh Barnett, I really suggest you go back and watch some tapes of his because this guy can perform. And I think he was always undervalued talent. So William, Heather, they went with Claudio on this one. Where are you leaning?
I'm gonna go Claudio as well. The one thing that I would like to know about this match, and is if this was the guy Moxley was supposed to be fighting, was Josh Barnett. That's all. That's my one kind of thought about this. But no, yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, I definitely think Claudio's gonna win.
And I'm right there with you. I'm throwing my name under Claudio. I just think it would be kind of weird to see Josh Barnett get the win over current talent right now. He is a little bit older. Not saying that he isn't good enough to pull off the win, but the problem is I think where not very many people are probably familiar with Josh Barnett's work. I think they're just going to be a little confused, and having Claudio lose to Josh probably really wouldn't make sense for the AEW fan base right now. And last but not least, for the 0 hour, I'm projecting will end with the Trios Championship. The champions, the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass, or as Carlos now calls them, the House of Ass, will take on the team of, and I'm very unfamiliar with these three: Shane Hayes, Mikey Nichols, and Bad Dude Tito.
Well, Shane Hayes and Mikey Nichols were in NXT.
Oh, were they?
Yeah, they were the Australian team from NXT. They're TMK, or they had they were called like a letters or something like that. They fought in the Dusty Rhodes tournament a couple times.
Okay, I'm now vague.
And then he was the one with like the Jason Voorhees hockey mask in the Retribution.
That I don't remember.
What was his name? Slapnuts, or was it Slapnuts? Something like that. Slapjack. Remember?
No, I don't. Well, I remember the faction. I just didn't recall the actual talent. I remember there was Mia Yim, Mustafa Ali, Mace, and Dijak as part
and
of
Slapjack guy. Yeah, Slapjack Ritter. He had like the white mask on.
Okay. Was that the one that was taking the chainsaw to the ropes and cutting them apart?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. But no, now that you mentioned that Australian team.
Yeah, they were in NXT for a good minute.
They weren't very, very long. I remember that part.
They had some good matches with DIY and stuff like that. Yeah.
So what about Bad Dude Tito?
He's bad. He's a bad dude. He's easy on the eye, so I like him. But he's fought a lot in New Japan Strong. I've seen him a lot because when I was following New Japan Strong when Fred Rosser was the champion. He fights a lot. He fights a lot in the New Japan Strong at the LA dojo. Oh. But now all those guys are in Japan now. So all those guys like the Clark Corners of them. So now they're all fighting there now. Okay. He's a bad dude. He's Bad Boy Tito. Happy Hispanic Heritage Month.
Well, I think he needs to be aligned with that nasty Leroy. If you're gonna have the name Bad Dude Tito,
and then Johnny B. Bad could be their manager.
Oh, that would be hilarious. But anyways, now that we sidetracked off long enough, Heather and William both went for the House of Ass. I'm throwing my name in the House of Ass. Carlos?
I mean, come on. Who's in my background right now?
I should have known better to ask. That's why I went last. Or had you go last?
But for me, the thing I'm hoping that Max he disses him about the whole Slapjack character during his intro today. I'm sure he won't disappoint me.
All righty. Why don't we go into the main card right now? It's funny that I'm kind of starting it like this as it is, just because we've seen it happen the last couple of pay-per-views, but I put it as the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship, the handicap match. MJF is solely going to defend the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships against the Righteous. And we've actually got a split finally on this. William has mentioned he was going with MJF. Heather is going with the Righteous, which that one surprised me. So, Carlos, who you going with?
Man, I'm torn with this one. I don't see them. I don't see them giving MJF the loss, but at the same time, I don't see them letting him continue with the titles. I'm gonna go with the Righteous too. I think there needs to be new tag team champions.
Ooh, interesting.
But again, to me, I'm really upset with the storyline. To me, I wish they would have just forfeited the titles, and because you would have saved MJF from having to take the loss. And it should also, I mean, it should also be the Kingdom in this matchup. It makes no sense that you're giving all the story time to them on TV, but you're not going to have them fighting for the titles. Bad. This is a bad booking, but I do like what they're doing with the Righteous. But yeah, I'm going to go Righteous. Why not?
All right. Well, I hate to say it, but I'm going to be loyal to the family. I'm with William on this. I think some way, somehow, MJF ends up finding a way to win this and keep those championships for him and Adam Cole. Bye. And sending well wishes to Adam Cole. I don't know if you saw pictures of that foot injury he had or the ankle injury.
That's not his foot. That's fake. No,
oh, that was not fake.
That's good. It's storyline.
Take it from a guy who's gone through gout. I can tell you when an ankle looks fake or not.
No, but just fans are saying that it wasn't his ankle. This is all storyline. And
no.
The conspiracy theorists are out with their tinfoil hats hard on this one.
Well, I love the fact that Britt Baker also sent out a tweet saying, I'm so ecstatic to see all these doctors here on the social media giving their I'm like, yes. Oh, I love her humor, even though not too many people do, but I don't care. I think she's always been great.
I've always loved myself a good bitch, so you know.
Yeah, she plays it really well. Why don't we go to Ricky Starks taking on Wheeler Yuta? Another split here.
My two daddies fighting each other.
Yeah, we got Heather going for Wheeler Yuta.
Oh,
yeah, William for Ricky Starks. Where do you lean for this one?
Ricky Starks, come on. He needs the win. He's going to win this match.
Yeah, I'm with you and William on this. Sorry, Heather, this wasn't meant to be a sausage party deal.
You can blame the meds. Oh, sausage party. Where are we going? No.
But the guys are going with Starks while Heather goes with Wheeler, and I think that's just because of a John Moxley deal there, I'm sure. So we still love you, Heather.
Well, Heather is like she reminds me. She's a lot like Executions, like Sarah. They like their faces and they hate their heels. And again, that's something I appreciate from wrestling fans.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, we don't call ourselves the Wrestling Fans Insight for nothing, you know. So, also want to give a shout out to Saged Up Network. He's sitting here in our X Space app room currently and been sticking with us from the start. Thank you, Sage, for always being there for us. And
well, not just that, we are part of the Sage Up Network, John. You didn't do the plug for the whole thing. You're slacking.
Well, you know, if you didn't interrupt me so quickly, Mister, need to get my voice.
Oh, sure. Wait to try to save yourself.
Listen here. Don't make me go get the acclaim.
Oh, he wants the mic.
That's what you want me to do.
Yeah. Oh no, spank me.
Oh, did you get it to? Okay. So, also we have the AEW World Tag Team Title shot, which this one has got me kind of. It's definitely not my most looking forward to match. It's basically like a fatal 4-way, and this is weird because we got 3 teams that are actual teams and one that's kind of just thrown together.
So that team's gonna win.
And that's kind of funny because Heather and William have picked the team of Orange Cassidy and Hook, who is also going up against the Young Bucks, the Lucha Brothers, and the Guns. And what say you, brother? What do you think? Which team do you think comes out with the W?
So at first I thought it was going to be the Young Bucks because I figured they would use the tag team title matchup for Full Gear because it's going to be in LA, their hometown. But then people were talking about the fact that they think that this tag team title match is going to happen at Title Tuesday. And so with that being said, I'm going to go for the Guns.
Really?
Yeah, why not?
I
like my Bang Bang Boys.
Well, I mean, you got a 25% chance on guessing right here, so I find it weird because I think Heather.
Oh, you know what? Never mind. I got to change my pick. I'm gonna go Orange Cassidy and Hook because Hook doesn't take many losses. Sorry, my bad.
Now wait a minute. What the hell here? Which are you going with?
Well, you know, you opened your mouth and it sounded like chalkboard. And fingernails on chalkboard, so you made me change my mind. That's all.
Oh, I can give you something else that sounds like chalkboard here in a minute. So I'm changing you from the Guns to OC and Hook.
Yep, just by the sound of your voice.
Well, now that you pissed me off. Yeah, this is weird because you got two teams.
What are you gonna do? Open. What are you gonna do? Open a container of ice cream and whoop my ass?
Yes, but you got both. You got two different teams here.
breaking out the thin mint on me.
Oh, good Lord! Now quiet for a minute, boy. So we got two teams here with guys with a singles title on them. I'm not so sure it would make sense to have either of those teams win, but it is possible. I kind of wouldn't mind seeing Lucha Brothers get yet another championship shot there because I felt like they had to end their reign. I think due to one of them being injured. I think it was Ray Phoenix, actually, if I remember right.
Well, I just wish they were. I wish they weren't even in this match because I feel like having them in this match it just kind of cheapens Ray Phoenix's reign as the international champion, and again we all know that it wasn't planned, but at the same time it just makes it feel like he's a placeholder, and I wish that they were just letting him cook more as a champion.
Well, and didn't FTR win the championships off the Guns too?
Yes, after the Guns beat the Acclaim, just so they could beat don't even get me started.
So the only two teams I think would make sense for FTR to take on would be either Orange Cassidy and Hook or the Lucha Brothers. But I'm having a really tough time with this one.
Okay, John, we're trying to keep this podcast under 2 hours, just so you know.
You know what? Listen,
walk away from your chalkboard really quick. You're like Charlie on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, drawing lines everywhere right now.
I'm trying really hard to keep this as a positive platform, but you are making this really hard today. So I'm going with all three. I'm going to go with Orange Cassidy and Hook just because it just seems unlikely for them to. Because
that one time you saw Orange Cassidy on Jericho Cruise, it makes you like them. So Jericho Cruise, you gonna flex them more?
No, I just think it's because it's an odd team.
No, and I mean, I agree. Okay, let's move on to the next one.
Why don't we move on to the 6-man tag? Oh boy, Kenny Omega, Kota Ibushi, the Golden Lovers, and Chris Jericho. This is a team I never thought I would see together. Taking on Konosuke Takeshita, Sammy Guevara, and Will Ospreay.
Jesus.
Yeah. This looks like a fun one to plan. Heather, of course, went with Kenny Omega, Kota Ibushi, and Chris Jericho. William actually took the Callis family.
Yeah.
So sounds like Carlos.
You can do it. I'm doing a podcast. Jesus.
That's
a little family drama for you there.
Well, wrestling's all about drama now. So
Jesus.
But I don't know if you heard, but William chose the Don Callis family. Heather chose the Faces. Where do you see this one going?
This is hard.
Yeah,
that's what she said. That's what she said.
You're gay. You can't say that line.
That's what he said. Okay. I'm gonna go with the Don Callis family.
Interesting.
And I'm gonna go with Sammy pinning Chris Jericho.
So, any reason why you would go toward the Don Callis family?
Because I think they need it more. I think with Sammy just joining the family, and I think it builds more to their. And I think them beating them builds more to Coach Kateshka's and Ibushi's. Take a shit. Yeah, it builds more to their match too. I mean, if the Faces win, then where's there really to build for his feud with Kota? So I'm gonna go the Don Callis family, and I like the bad guys.
Well, and let's also remember that it wasn't long ago Jericho got the pin over Sammy. So, and I think this would be making more sense for the heels to win. That way, Sammy, like if you're right. This will put Sammy and Jericho.
Wait, hell! I need to record. Oh, this is a recorded space. Never mind. I need to record you telling me that I'm right, so I can play that over.
Wow, I give you more credit than you realize, dude. So you should be a little nicer here today. But anyways,
My new ringtone, just John told me, I'm right, I'm right, I'm right. You're right, you're right. Oh, thank you.
you're such a pain in the ass today.
I'm gay. Hello, that's what we do.
Well, that's not quite
That's
what.
what he said. I'm just kidding.
Uh, Hangman Adam Page against Swerve Strickland. Heather went for Hangman.
Of course you did. See,
William went with Swerve. So let me go first.
you go first. Monkeys first on this one.
I think be nice. I'm with William on this. I think Swerve needs this victory more than anything. Plus, I think they're looking to focus a little more on giving Swerve the push and going more toward the world championship run than that anything. So getting a win over a former world champion will help build that. So what do you think?
Oh, Swerve, 100%.
All right. Sorry.
Tony Khan don't want that black Twitter smoke after he let Jade go.
Wow. I can't believe you played that card right now. So why don't we go right to the TBS championship then? Champion Chris Statlander defending against Julia Hart. Heather William both went with Chris Statlander. I'm right there with them. I don't think Chris is dropping that championship yet, although Julia Hart has tremendously improved since she started with AEW. And I've really loved her performance the last couple of matches I have watched. So I think it'll be a matter of time before we see her with a championship, just not right now. What's your pick?
Statlander too. I just don't. I think Julia Hart's had a good run, but I don't see her being the TBS champion right now.
This next one I think is more main event, but
who did you choose? Did you give your choice?
Yeah, I went with Chris Statlander.
Okay.
This next match, though, I really wanted to write it down as possibly going to be the main event, but I think where he already main evented back at Forbidden Door, I'm not sure if they would go with it again. However, Bryan Danielson will be taking on Zack Sabre Jr., and this isn't for the New Japan Pro Wrestling Television Championship, right? It's just a regular match.
No, the New Japan chocolate bar is not on the line today.
God, that thing is so damn ugly.
It looks like a big chocolate bar.
Well, it looks like the old WCW television logo.
It looks like a big ass candy bar. I'm waiting for him to break it open one day and start eating it.
Give me a break of that. Oh, no, just kidding.
New Japan TV title. Dun, 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 dun.
So Heather went with Bryan Danielson. William went with Zack Sabre Jr. So very interesting one because I think this will go either way. What's your pick?
This has to be Danielson. You got to give the guy a win here. He's only got a year left. Yeah, I don't want to see him lose to this match. I want to see Danielson win. So I'm going Danielson.
It's really hard to bet against Zack Sabre Jr. Just one, he's a champion. Two, he's quite the talent. I think he's right up there with Will Ospreay as being one of the best in pro wrestling today. But I hate to say it, I'm with you on that logic. I'm going to go with Bryan Danielson on this one. So we have the AEW World Tag Team Championship. The champions FTR defending against Aussie Open. Heather and William already both went with FTR. I don't know. This one is another one that's could be a head scratcher because I could see Aussie Open dethroning them, but I don't know if we're just ready to see FTR lose those championships yet. What are you thinking so far?
I'm going FTR, and just as a spoiler, I predict FTR will lose the titles to the Young Bucks at Full Gear. So I'm going to go FTR.
All right, I'm going with FTR as well. I just don't think, like I said, I don't think it's time to give up those championships quite yet. Although Aussie Open would be a team that wouldn't be a bad one to take them from them. So And then we have the Ring of Honor World Title and New Japan Strong Openweight Championships on the line. Champion Eddie Kingston will be. So Eddie Kingston holds both of these titles, correct?
God, yes, soul fart. God,
Because Shibata has the Ring of
pure
Honor
championship.
Pure Championship. Man, you might as well just put all three championships on the line. But Eddie Kingston, the champ.
Eddie Kingston is not a pure wrestler.
You could say
I mean,
Eddie.
he would like the breaks in between, probably if you could smoke a cigarette, you know. But no.
So would this be grammatically possible? Eddie Kingston, the champions. No, just kidding. Defending both the championships against Katsuyori Shibata. Heather William both went with Kingston. I think it's too early for Kingston to drop any of the championships. I'm going with Kingston. Carlos, your pick.
I want to pick my man crush Shibata, but I'm going to go with Eddie Kingston.
All right. And this is what I think might possibly be the main event. I don't know.
It's going to be Darby Allin's the main event.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay. So for the TNT Championship in the best 2 out of 3 falls, champion Christian Cage will be defending against Darby Allin, and Heather and William are predicting a new champion in Darby Allin. What's your prediction?
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think Adam Copeland's showing up tonight?
I'm going to say no.
All right. I'm going to say yes. And with that being said, I think that, man, this is hard. I don't know. Is Steam banned from ringside? I forget that. Is Steam banned from ringside for this one?
I don't think so, but I mean, I don't think there's any stipulations, period, on this one other than it's just 2 out of 3 falls.
I'm going to go with Darby too. I'm going to say that, again, you're not going to, if you're ending this, his hometown, he's got to win the title. I do think Adam Copeland's going to show up though. So I don't know if he's going to help Darby win or he's going to attack him afterwards, but I am going to predict Darby winning because, again, there's a reason why this is the main event. And again, to me, I think Tony Khan set himself up if he's not going to have Adam Copeland be there to have this be the main event, but it could also just be that Darby's in his hometown. But I'm saying yes to both. Why not?
The only logic I'm going to throw in this is because the 2 hometown boys. Well, wait a minute. Swerve's not from Seattle, right?
Yeah, he is.
Oh, he is? So out of the 3 hometown boys, Nick Wayne's not going to win. I think Swerve will. This one's going to be tough. Because if Adam Copeland does show up tonight, he is going to help Christian retain that championship.
So now you're making me change my mind.
Well, sorry, I'm not meaning to do that. It's just I'm trying to think of different possibilities that could happen, and I got to speed it up because we're almost running out of time. I think for right now, I just think the championship's going to stay with Christian Cage. I think he's going to find some dirty way to retain that.
Yeah, I'm changing my pick too. I'm going to go with Christian Cage, but I think Adam Copeland helps him win.
Yes. All right.
So yeah, because and that thing too, there's nothing left for Darby to do with the TNT title. Christian Cage is on the best run of his career right now, one of the best runs. If you ask my opinion, and it just makes more sense to have him keep the title. Darby he's already been like what 3-time TNT champion.
Has it been 3 or has it only been 2?
I think it's been 3.
Because the only ones I know he's defeated was
Cody Rhodes
and Samoa Joe.
So it has only been 2. Okay, well maybe only 2.
I think it's only been 2. So
okay,
if he wins tonight, this will make him a 3-timer. So I can't remember.
I love what Christian's doing with the title, and I hope they don't take it off of him.
Yeah, I think right now the momentum should stick with having Christian retain that championship. Just 1, because he's a damn good heel, and 2, as who was saying it the other day?
I wouldn't be surprised if we get it. What?
As Hamlin would say, Father of the Year there.
Exactly. I wouldn't be surprised to see Nick Wayne turn on Darby Allin either, to be honest.
Do you think he would come out and help Christian? Well,
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, Christian has been in Nick
His
Wayne.
ear. Yeah, I just feel like there's a heel turn coming for him. And that's when he can start winning more matches too, when he turns as a heel.
Yeah, without a doubt. All right. So without any further ado, that kind of
Now that we chased everybody away from our podcast, thanks.
actually, why don't we go ahead and give some shout outs there? Big shout out to Saged Up Network, who was in our room, along with Chris Haas, the Brooklyn Brawler of all people.
What a flex.
Yeah, that was awesome. Thank you for that, Steve Lombardi. I appreciate you joining us for that short little time you were able to. Couple others I forgot who was in there with us. Great comment from Patrick Pucci from Fantasy Football. Great space right here.
And again, just for him even join us for a minute or whatever, he's busy today with all this fantasy stuff going on. So appreciate you, Patrick.
Yes, always appreciate anybody who's willing to tune in. Roll, I saw him come in as well. Gosh, there was a couple more and I just totally spaced it. But I also want to give some shout outs out there to some other podcasts. Jim over the Fan in the Van, Garrett there from Is This a Bad Take? Also Jalen, or not Jay, yeah, Jalen and Garrett who do the Two Dude Sports News. Garrett with Jim from Fan in the Van. Also, they do the Steel and Teal Talk. Nate's Daily Wager, Brutally Honest Sports, the 1420 Sports Podcast. Today we laughed and learned. Austin Boyer with the Wrestling World, Ted the Hillbilly Heel, BC Hunter, who does Wrestling with the 80s and Wrestling with the Truth. And Carlos, you have any give?
Huh?
Do you have any shout outs to give?
Two shits to give? No, just a shout out to Sarah Houston 84, Infrared R, Obey Jazz, Marcy, John Grunge on Twitter, who's a good friend of mine, Michael, everybody who supports us every day, everyone in the sports and chat group. Again, just everybody who supports us, everyone who's helped us all get verified with Twitter now too. We're all monetizing, so thank you guys for that. Just everyone who supports I have a lot of fun with these little just interactions we have on X. So just everyone who supports us with whatever platform we're on, a lot of gratitude out to you guys. Thank you for supporting us.
And we had Liberty Reigns, who briefly came into our room there for just a second. Thank you, Liberty, for joining us for that little bit. Did you have any other surprises or thoughts coming with tonight's card?
No, I mean, again, I think that maybe the Max Dreamy deals. I don't know what this new era is going to be. Mercedes Monet. I think she'll be there too. Monet.
Interesting. Do you think she gets involved in any certain way?
Maybe she comes out. Maybe she comes out to Statlander. Also, they said maybe there's another girl from New Japan that might be free agent. They're talking about. I definitely think we're going to see a woman from New Japan or Stardom show up tonight. Something's going to happen.
So, do you think they'll play any important role in like match outcomes, or do you just think they show up?
I think they just show up to maybe challenge Statlander.
Interesting. All right. Well, without any further ado, you can reach us on the X app. You can find me at WF Insight Podcast. Carlos, you want to give yours?
Yeah, I'm at C to the LOS 77. Also at Conquer the No, and then on Instagram at Rainbow Goodness _.
All right. And you can see us on our Facebook page. Go to the groups, the Fans of Pro Wrestling. We also have a webpage where you can find links to all your favorite audio platforms to listen to us on over at www.wrestlingfansinsight.com. You'll redirect you to our pod page where, again, it will have all the links to your favorite platforms. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Good Pods, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and much more. Also, big thank you to StreamYard and the X app space for allowing us to get these podcasts out to multiple platforms at once, being live. We've been live on Twitch, YouTube, our Facebook group, and the X Space app. As we mentioned, we are streaming in multiple areas at once. So thank you to everybody who's taken the time to listen to us, not just on those, but any way you can. So, Carlos, do you have anything else to say before we take off?
Nope, I think I'm all good.
All right. Well, again, we will be back again Wednesday night on the X Space app on the WFI Post Dynamite show that Carlos hosts. And what time will that be again?
Right after Dynamite's over, so 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific.
Awesome. We look forward to seeing you there. We will be preempted the next couple of Sundays due to the fact that I will not be around. So I hope you all enjoy. We will be back again Wednesday night on Carlos's post AEW Dynamite show. And without any further ado, thank you, everybody. We will catch you next week. Or actually, we'll catch you Wednesday.
I'll be right back. I'm going to go yell at my family. And then we'll do the other thing.